All right, here we go. This is gonna be, gosh, I've lost track. I think day 6, Bill, of the repair. Yesterday, first I gotta say, I've been really lucky with the weather. It sucks working in cold weather. Everything's just harder. Your hands hurt more when you hit them, which happens a lot with me. And just being, on the cold concrete. But yesterday was actually snowed, sleeted a little bit, and all I did yesterday was open up the drain for the oil, have all the oil drain out. So I was waiting on parts, but so it's a nice day out. Hopefully I can get a lot done. I'd like to say I'm going to be finished today, but so far my predictions on how long it's going to take to do things has not been very well. But I just received my package from JAE. Bunch of shims. I had every one of them I needed in stock. I ordered doubles of some stuff, or instead of the one size I needed, I got a size up or down. So hopefully I'll have everything I need. And they were good. They said they'd take back what I don't use. I mean, it was 60 bucks. So I may send some back. I don't know. God forbid I have to do this again. So might want to hold on to them. And also got, so right before all this fiasco started, I'd ordered what's the name of this company? Touch Up Direct. They have every color paint you can think of, and they match it by the color code, and they had my color code for my Lotus. So I ordered a couple of, is this a pint? I'm not exactly sure, but it comes with the color and the clear, and then the hardener for the clear. So I've got an airbrush. I'm pretty good at airbrushing and painting and stuff like that, and I've got some filler. I took the spoiler off of the rear hatch, and of course it left holes. So I'm going to attempt to fill the holes with some filler and match it with this and see. Hopefully it matches pretty good. It comes with a card that you actually test with. You spray the card, and they guarantee it. If it doesn't match, when you do the card, hold it up there. If it doesn't match, they'll fix it or take it back. So anyway, that's going to be another video down the road after I get Esprit back on the road. So anyway, it's time to start working on getting the valves finally set where they need to be, and check that. But before I do that, I'm going to do some testing on my torque wrenches. Just want to be sure about something. So I'm going to do that and then get started. Oh, and I also used yesterday, kind of a down day, to get the fluids I needed. I picked up some Xerox. Seems pretty recommended on the forums. The G05 is what people recommended, and if you go to their website, it doesn't have Lotus specifically, but it lists Jaguar and a couple other British cars of this same model year, and this is what it recommends. This is the pre-mixed, so I'm only mixing water with it. I've read a lot about that. You should use distilled water if you do that, so I went and got the pre-mixed. Apparently there's a lot of different technologies as far as mixtures and chemicals used in coolant. I originally bought the Xerox, I can't remember which number, but it's a pinkish color. And apparently on the forums that people were talking about, yeah, that particular mixture is not recommended for the Lotus and the type of material it has. But this one is, so I took that back and got that. And I always run Mobil 1 full synthetic 15W50. Good stuff. And always use water wetter. I've used water wetter since my muscle car days. I had a supercharged Mustang. I've never seen any adverse effects, and it seems to help, so I'm going to add that as well. I'm going to double check just to make sure that it's compatible with that mixture of antifreeze first, though. But so when I was buying this, it's put me one step closer. Like, started thinking about once I get it back together and running it. And my plan is to fill it up with just pure water to begin with, and run it for maybe a day, and then empty the water because it's got oil and coolant mixtures, or got mixed. So the oil had water in it, the water had oil in it. So I'm gonna run it maybe for a day or half a day, just with pure water in it, drain that, kind of flush it, and then I'll put the coolant in. And like like I said, I undid the drain plug yesterday, and the car was tilted at right angle and everything, so, and left that draining overnight, so it should have got almost every bit of oil out. So I'll replace the oil in the filter. It's like one of the last things I do. So it'll have fresh fluids when they get started up. Now back to work. So now that I am hopefully going to be putting the cam towers on for the last time and putting the head back on, I started to have some concerns about the torque rating, especially on the head at 110 pounds. I mean, if I'm off 10% or something, that could really cause some problems. So I've got some cheap torque wrenches that I got from Harbor Freight, but so I tested those with a weight setup and found out they were off pretty bad. Like 8 pounds at 15 pounds, it was 8 pounds off. So I'm going to do two things. So I've got a torque wrench for the smaller stuff that's my own from Harbor Freight, and I'm going to set up some weights and get it set to 15 pounds. I've got 15 pounds of weight that I'm going to set up and set that torque wrench for the cam towers. Then I actually borrowed or rented a higher end torque wrench from a local parts store. They let you put a deposit, and then when you bring it back, get your deposit back. So I'm going to check it as well. I won't be able to check it up to 110 pounds that I need for the head bolts, but I'm going to test it for up to about 40 pounds and just see how far off it is before I proceed. So I want to make sure I get as close as possible to that. So just did a little online research and found a couple ways to test your torque wrench. I know you can have them professionally calibrated, but a cheap way is just to test it with weights, which is what I'm going to do here. So the first one I'm just going to set up and get it set to about 15 pounds. I'm not even going to pay attention to what it's set at on the dial. I'm going to get it to where it clicks at about 15 pounds of weight. And then the larger one that I rented, I'm just going to test at 40 pounds and see how close it is. Alright, so this is clicking right at 15.5 pounds. So I'm going to lock it to that. And this is for the cam towers. It's supposed to be 14 to 16 pounds. So this is, I got 15.5 pounds of weight. And this is actually set on 13.5 is what it's set to. So it's 2 pounds off. But should be good. With the range that the cam towers have, 14 to 16 I believe, that should be good for that. So that's all I'm going to use this one for. Well, so much for that. It broke my cheap vise. So another casualty in the repair of the Lotus. So I guess I'm just going to have to give this the benefit of the doubt. Well, just checking all the shims. I ordered 2 of certain sizes. 88 and 85, only got 1 of each, even though it was labeled 2. But hopefully, since I've got enough leeway and ordered extras, that it won't hold me up. But I'll contact JAE. I'm sure they'll take care of it. Just get a delay of another couple of days if I have to add some more. So this sucks. The two numbers that I only got one of when I ordered two, or at least one of them, the 85, I need both of them. I just talked to JE. They're not out of them. It was just apparently not packaged. So I'm going to see if I can get by without them. I'll try next one up or down if I've got it. Worst case, I'll check with that local Lotus guy that I talked to that said he's got a bunch. I mean, it's like an hour drive or so, but it's better than waiting 2 days for JE to send another set. So I'll play around with it and see what I can do, and hopefully I can make it work, or I'll be taking a drive. I'll wait. I'll do the intake. And if I can't get by getting the exhaust done, I'll get it as close as possible. I'll do the intake and then make the run for those shims, just because I might need some intake ones. So anyway, I'm going to continue on. All right, intake is done. Everything is well within spec. Everything's 7 or 6 plus. So shooting for 7. You want to go towards the high side, so when they tighten up, perfect. So that's done. Now I'm just going to make a call and see if the 10 and the 11 on the exhaust is something I can live with, or if I should adjust it and get a little higher. We'll see. If the advice is stay with the 10 and the 11, and I'm ready to move on, man. Next thing's going to be putting the head on. So, fingers crossed. All right, so I found a shim I think that'll get that 11 closer to 12, and I'm going to double check that 10 again on the this is on the exhaust. So I'm going to check that 10 again and maybe do a little slight polishing on that shim. I'm not going to grind it, but just maybe some polishing with a wire brush. See if I can get that closer. So I'll probably put do the intake one more time, and just whatever I get out of that, I will leave it. I also realized that I've got in my gasket kit has got some cam tower oil seals. So I'm going to go ahead and replace those two. While I got the thing apart. I think they're pretty prone to leaking, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace them while I got this apart. All right, I messed around with the exhaust one more time. So that 11 I got is 11 and a half now, and the 10 is about 10 and a half now. So those are within range. I mean, be nice to have the 10 up a little bit more, but I think it's good like it is. It's definitely better than it was when I took it apart anyway. So I think I'm good with that. So I'm going to replace the seals now on the cams, and probably mount the head. Valves are set. Valve shims are done. Everything is within spec. So now I am going to double check and make sure the new studs are bottomed out. I'm going to put a wrench on them, just make sure they turn until they get resistance. Clean out the cylinders, get any grit out that I can. Clean the head one more time, and it's ready to go on. And then the cam towers and cams, and not far from that, you just closing everything back up. So kind of nervous, but yeah, whatever. Whatever happens, happens. If I have to do it again, I have to do it again. There we go. The head is in place. Holy crap. Head is back home. That was tough lifting that and putting it there by myself, but to be honest, I don't know how two people would have been any better. It's so cramped in there. Maybe somebody could stand over here. But it is in place. Now, the most nervous part of this for me is torquing down those bolts at 110 pounds. I just hope this torque wrench that I rented from the auto parts store is accurate. Alright, I was about ready to torque down the head bolts. Got the sequence and everything. I had the torque wrench set. But I checked it one more time and there's a little bit of, you can tell there's some teeth or something's broken on this torque wrench. This is the one that I borrowed from the auto parts store. I just don't trust it. I don't want that to be, I don't want to shear a bolt off. I don't want to have it leak as soon as I do it, so. Ah, crap. Really don't want to spend a ton of money on a torque wrench, but yeah, I'm going to take this back and see if they've got another one. Then maybe buy one, I don't know. But I'm not going to screw up this late in the game. I'm going to do it right, so. To be continued. Alright, I'm back. So I took back that torque wrench. They didn't have another one at O'Reilly's. So I went by Pep Boys. And they have a different brand. And I actually talked to one of the speed shop guys there. He said that he's had good luck with this brand. It's the OEM brand, I guess is the name of it. Never had any complaints. And he actually went out into the mechanics area and tested it against one of the mechanics' torque wrench. Set them both for 100 and they both clicked at the same time. So I'm confident this is a good one now, and I can be confident that I've got it set to 110 pounds. It's going to be as close as possible to that. So it's getting kind of late. I actually took a break, had something to eat, and this is all I'm going to do today. I'm going to torque these down, and then I'm going to call it a day. I'm not going to press on tonight. I'm going to relax tonight and hopefully finish up tomorrow. So I get these head bolts torqued down. This is one of the most things I'm apprehensive about in this build. I'm just imagining one shearing off or stripping the block or something. I'm just more concerned about this than anything else. So anyway, when I get this done, it'll be a big relief and get started back again tomorrow. So here we go. The head is on. Good, bad, or somewhere in between, it's on. I can't help but feeling that that was the most crucial step, and just hope I did it right. Follow the sequence I found on the gasket site, where they talk about installing their gasket with this, which I understand JE's is very similar. And did 110 pounds. I swear I thought I was going to strip something. I'd never put anything under that much pressure. I was just praying that I wasn't going to strip something. I could just see myself having to tap and helical the block or something from stripping out that one of those bolts through there. But seemed to work. Had to run and get another extension, a half drive extension to clear some of the stuff on the head. I tried the 3/8 with an adapter and it just ripped them in half. So that's done. I am beat. I'm more emotionally beat tonight than any of the other nights. Not so physically, but
just stressful. I got a lot done though. I did get all the shims done. So now it's just a matter of tomorrow, hopefully putting the cam towers on, hooking everything up, filling up with fluids, and seeing what happens. So, wish me luck, and we'll pick this up tomorrow.